Okay, let's talk about professional drifting. It is just a total sensory overload, right? In the best way possible. You've got this high-speed, sideways ballet with screaming engines, billowing tire smoke. It looks like pure, beautiful chaos. I mean, just look at this. You've got two cars, literally inches apart, flying at insane speeds, completely sideways. It's this incredible display of skill and car control that just pulls in millions of fans. It is loud, it's aggressive, and it is absolutely 100% thrilling. But here's the question, right? The one that probably keeps every team and every official up at night. In a sport that is constantly pushing physics to its absolute breaking point, what happens when those limits finally break? Well, this is the reality. And the answer to that question? It isn't found in all the smoke and noise. Nope, it's buried in a super dense, meticulously detailed rulebook. We're talking about a world of extreme engineering, all designed for one single purpose: making sure that when things go horribly wrong, the driver can just walk away. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the driver's lifeline. Then we'll get into forging that steel cocoon they sit in. After that, taming the fire within the car, and finally, all the crucial checks before a competition. So let's start with the driver's lifeline, because it really is about more than just a steering wheel. And we have to start with the most important part of any car, the person inside. Their safety begins way before they even think about climbing in. See, every single piece of gear a driver wears, it isn't a costume, it's not for show. The helmet, the suit, the seat, think of it all as a high-tech survival kit. Every single item is governed by these incredibly strict international standards, all to protect them from fire and massive impacts. And you're going to hear this term a lot, FIA homologated. What does that mean? Well, think of it like a battle-tested seal of approval from the top dogs in motorsports. It means a piece of equipment has gone through just brutal testing. We're talking fire, we're talking impacts, all to prove that it can and will save a life. So when a car goes through tech inspection, the officials are literally on a treasure hunt for this exact label. This little sticker is the proof. It's the "you shall pass" for the gear. If they don't see it, you're not competing. It is that simple. And these requirements get so specific. Of course, you need a full-face helmet. The seats need that halo-style protection for side impacts. But get this, and this is what I find fascinating. A seat has a strict 5-year expiration date. Even if it looks brand new, the materials inside actually break down from things like UV light and stress. They just lose their strength. So after 5 years, it's garbage. Gotta get a new one. Okay, so the driver's geared up and safe. But what about the car itself? Let's talk about forging the steel cocoon, the science behind the roll cage. So for anyone who's not a gearhead, what exactly is a roll cage? It's basically a custom-built steel skeleton that goes inside the car, and it has one job, and one job only. In a horrible, catastrophic crash, it has to protect the space where the driver is sitting. It absorbs and pushes away all that crazy energy so the car doesn't just crumple in on them. And the rule book for building these things? It's insane. It gets down to the microscopic level. Just listen to this direct quote from the Formula Drift rulebook. "Thorough fusion shall exist between weld metal and base metal." That's not just fancy talk for welded good. It means the two pieces of metal have to literally become one, like at a molecular level. That's the standard. So what that means is that any little flaw is a total failure. A tiny crack you can barely see? Fail. An undercut that's only, like the thickness of a few human hairs deep? Fail. And that's exactly why they have a rule against grinding down your welds to make them look pretty. You could be hiding a flaw that could be fatal. And you see here how the rules directly target the biggest dangers. Drifting means cars are door-to-door all the time, so side impacts are a huge risk. So the rulebook says you must have these door bars, usually in an X shape or a parallel ladder shape. It's a shield, plain and simple, to stop another car from ending up in the driver's lap. All right, so we've got the driver wrapped in high-tech gear inside a steel cocoon. But what about all the volatile stuff inside the car with them? The fuel, the battery, all that heat. That brings us to our next section, taming the inner fire. First up, every single car has to have its own personal onboard firefighter. That's really what a fire suppression system is. And get this, the bracket holding it in place has to be strong enough to withstand a 25G impact. Think about that for a second. The safety equipment that's there to save you in a crash has to be tougher than the crash itself. Okay, now let's talk about the battery. You might not think about it, but in a crash, a loose battery becomes a 70-pound brick flying around the cockpit, a brick that can also start a massive fire. So the rules are crystal clear. You gotta bolt it down with serious hardware. No flimsy plastic brackets allowed. And if it's inside the cabin with you, it has to live in a sealed, vented metal box. No exceptions. And you start to see a theme here, right? It's all about separation. The core rule is this. If you have a line running through the driver's compartment that's carrying anything hot or flammable, like fuel or coolant, it absolutely must be walled off from the driver. It's like you're building firewalls inside the car, creating safe zones. Okay, on to our last section, the final checks for competition. Because, as you're about to see, every single detail matters. I mean, the level of detail in the rulebook is just astounding. It covers everything. Brakes, gotta work on all four wheels, no exceptions. Wheels, carbon fiber is a big no-no because it can just shatter without warning. That drive shaft spinning underneath the car, there has to be a little steel loop around it, just in case it breaks to stop it from ripping through the floor. Even the tow hooks have to be a bright, easy-to-see color so the safety crews don't have to search for them in an emergency. And here's maybe the ultimate safety net. The whole inspection process, it doesn't just happen once. If a car has any kind of crash, even a minor one, the officials can walk over and literally rip its approved sticker off. And that car is not allowed back on track until it's been fixed and goes through the entire tech inspection all over again from scratch. So the next time you're watching a drift event and you see all that smoke and that incredible skill, just remember what you can't see. Because underneath all that spectacle, there's a foundation built on thousands of tiny rules all working together. It's what makes one of the most dangerous motorsports in the world survivable. You know, this whole system of rules, it's not about holding the drivers back. It's the complete opposite. It's about protecting them so they can go out there and push the absolute limits of what's possible. So now that you've had a peek behind the curtain at all these rules of survival, are you ever going to watch that beautiful chaos the same way again?